All right, so you guys seen my news today about finally getting my Lambo recovered, um, which I kind of have mixed emotions about it. With I got my glass is filled, but somebody else had to become a victim, unfortunately. And earlier I said I shouldn't even have been in this situation to even have to be happy and sad about getting something that was rightfully mine, but at the same time, I had to take it away from somebody else. That, if you guys watch victim number 2, he's now in hock of $250,000. And right now, we're going to do a phone call with victim number 3. Today, I was lucky I was able to get two. I mean, I don't want to say I'm lucky, but I'm able to talk to 2, even though it's like 10:20 tonight. 1 week ago, I posted that video, and it's been nuts. But this guy that I'm going to interview now, he is a friend of mine from car shows, and I kind of found out that he didn't even advertise that he bought a Lamborghini, a beautiful Lamborghini. He didn't advertise because he wanted to keep his fingers crossed and wait till he got it home, and then he was gonna maybe drive to a car show, show it to people, and so he was like when you put in a house, some people don't like to, they're like superstitious. They don't like to brag about it until they actually have the house. I think that's how he was with the car. He didn't want to brag about it. And then I guess weeks went by and he wound up talking to another friend of ours, Josh. And Josh said, "Wow, you got the car from Bull Auto? You need to really give a call to Mike because, there's things that Mike is alleging." I'm Mike, by the way, which is in which isn't, the dealings aren't right. And John, he's like, "I know, I'm going through the same thing." So, so me and him talked, and he stayed hopeful. He kept saying, "Hopefully the right thing is done," and the right thing is done. And well, I'm going to get him on the phone, and he just tell us his story now as well, and how this nonsense affected him. Yeah, so let's get him going. Select and see how he's gonna tell his story. So hopefully you'll have some time to listen. Good. How you doing, John? I don't even want to ask how you're doing because I know. When did you take delivery of the car? Monday? But my video went up Wednesday. You took delivery of the car Monday?
Tuesday of last week, Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, and you went to a car show that night.
I did, yeah.
Okay. So we'll rewind. I was telling people how I know you through car shows and how we became friends over there. A couple of years now.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah, because we have cars in common. John actually had a white Lambo and a Bentley, and he upgraded because the white Lambo. I'm going to say you upgraded personally. It was older. It was a 2012.
Yep, 2012.
And ironically, we found the guy who owns that Lambo, John. And actually, it's another John, and he's a victim too. So we got to get him. Maybe I'll do a victim call with him tomorrow. His white Lambo is paid for, but his other car, the Karma, he's eating, and it really sucks. Like that Karma, which used to be Val's wife's car, is actually in California. And actually Mike, the one who I did this statement with yesterday, he actually sold that car to someone in California, and he had to give them the money back. It's insane what this poor guy lost. But I mean, we all lost money. I mean, I'm kind of okay, but mentally I'm not. And just the fact that someone tried to rob $200,000 from me, like I don't have. I'm not living in a friggin' mansion or anything. I have a very modest house and work our asses off every single week. And some weeks we have a great week, and some weeks we don't. And the bad weeks actually are pretty scary. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm in the same situation as you. This has been probably the most mentally stressful 7-8 days of my life. And actually, it goes farther back than that, because we've been talking for a little bit now about the situation. And
that's actually what I said before I got you on the phone. So let's just say, hypothetically, Wednesday was when my video went out, which was the 4th. You got your car on the 2nd. So a week earlier, or maybe 9 days earlier, Josh knew about like how I was complaining, and because you didn't even brag that you got a Lambo. Like you didn't say, "Oh, I'm getting a Lambo." Like you didn't brag. Like I didn't know you even had one until me and Josh, because Josh was moving down south, so we went out to dinner, and he said, "Yeah, John's getting a Lambo," and he said getting it from Bull Auto, and I'm like, wow, John never even said anything about it. And because I kind of, the way I said it on my video was like, you were like, maybe I could be wrong. The reason you didn't brag about it is I thought, like, when people keep their mouth shut when they buy a house, they try not to say nothing until they know they actually own the house, because they think, my sister's this way, and they think like I get jinxed and then they won't get the house. Like putting in offers and whatnot, they don't like they keep it quiet. So in your case, I never knew you were getting a Lambo. I mean, I
had a bad feeling about it. I just had a bad feeling about it. I didn't want to post anything about it, and come to find out, the bad feeling was justified.
Oh, okay. So instinctively, you had you just had a bad feeling from the get go.
In the past, I've bought a handful of cars over the years. Well, usually when I close the deal, I'll post something like, "Oh, hey, this is just purchased this," or "This is coming soon." With this one, the deal itself felt a little weird, and I was going purely on trust. I've done a ton of business with Bull over the years, and kind of just ignored some things that I probably wouldn't have had it been with a dealership that I'd never worked with before.
Now, okay, so I'm going to rewind it. I'm going to even rewind it from before I found out you had the Lambo. So let's just say a month earlier, you have these two beautiful cars. He had a Bentley and a Lambo, a white Lambo. So you had these two beautiful cars, and were you approached by Bull Auto to sell your cars, or did you just wake up one day and say, you know what, I love these cars, but it's time for me to let them go, trade them in, and upgrade? Is that how that kind of worked?
So I'll go all the way back to the end of last year, probably October. It's right around the end of car season last year. I had decided that I wanted to try to consolidate into a newer Lamborghini, preferably a Huracan.
Yep. Beautiful looking car, by the way.
Hopefully I get to keep it. We'll see.
I pray that you do.
But so I didn't want to do anything before the winter, because I didn't want to worry about storing it and all that. So as soon as, I think it was February, March, actually I could tell you it was the week before my birthday was in March. So it was the week before my birthday, I had actually talked to Bull about sourcing me a car, finding a Huracan for me. They had said that was going to be no problem at all. Shouldn't even take very long. And I had never done something like this.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in real quick? So when you said you talked to Bull, was it here in Albany, Bull Auto, or was it in Jacksonville?
It was Albany. So all my transactions are in Albany.
Was the phone call made with the owner, Val, or was it made with, like, I guess we'll call him the general manager, Rob?
So originally it was with service. I was having a car serviced, and I had just mentioned. Actually, what's funny is I saw your car, your old Lamborghini, the orange one, in the showroom, and I had mentioned, hey, I was thinking about upgrading to a Huracan, and to the service manager, and he was like, I will give your information to the GM, and we'll have him reach out to you, but he's like, it'll be no problem.
The GM being Rob.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he actually reached out to me on Facebook, had me give him a call. We ran some numbers and stuff, but it took him almost probably a month and a half before we really got to any traction. And what was kind of throwing me off about the deal in general was that I kept having to reach out to him. He apologized to me a few times, like, he's like, I'm gonna call you this date, and then I never got a call. And he'd be like, oh, I'll call you this date, and never got a call. So I was actually calling him, and if I'm looking for a car that's $250,000, it kind of was putting me on edge a little bit.
Did he have your cars in possession, the other two?
Not yet. So
okay.
I'm trying to think the exact date. It was May 7th, I believe. That it was either May 6th or 7th that he reached out to me, the GM, and was like, "Hey, we found a Huracan Evo. That kind of fits what you're looking for. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah." That was what I was looking for. I was like, "Let's get the ball rolling on that." And then he said, "Well, when can you bring the cars? When can you pay me?" I thought that was a little strange. Because
on the phone, salesmen don't. I mean, they're pushy, but not so direct.
Right, and it's strange to me because any other car deal that I've done, you either see the car, you see the title, you make the deal at the same time. It's not, hey, we need your cars, your money, and then we'll get you to the car in a week or two.
Did you feel like it was a desperation kind of phone call on their behalf?
Looking back on it, possibly. At the time, I was like, oh, that's a little strange. But like I said, I went on trust. And
because you worked with them for years.
Yeah, they've done all my services. I actually met Val in 2011. I don't know if you remember, but at the old location.
I actually didn't meet him at the old location. I just found out that the old location was just down the road from where my Lamborghini.
Fuller Road,
right, but that's where my Lamborghini was, down that road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right down that dead end road is where I recovered my Lambo.
But
ironically,
so May 8th, I get all the paperwork from Rob, signed purchase agreement. All the numbers detailed out. I call my bank because I took a pretty decent sized loan to cover the car. And
no disrespect to you, but I think in one of my videos I did mention and I apologize. I did mention what.
No, it's fine. I think I don't remember the exact number, but it was
he spent upwards of $300,000. Okay, so between his and he's Rob, John, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Okay, you look really young for your age. Good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. You haven't seen me in the last week. I'm looking a little rough. I've been stressed to the max, as you can imagine.
All right, I'm not going to interrupt. So go ahead. I apologize, but go ahead.
Okay, good. So the 8th is when the deal. We signed all the paperwork. That Saturday, I believe it was 2 days later, so maybe the 9th or 10th, is when I paid him. I gave him the money. I gave him my cars. And he said that the Huracan Evo would be here within 7 to 10 days max.
Okay, so 7. Let's go on 10 days. That would be the 18th of May.
17th or 18th, yeah.
And that's when I think around that time is when I got my car delivered.
Right, and I think you got yours on the 17th because I remember messaging you to say congratulations. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of where the dialogue started talking a little bit back and forth, and then things really started to blow up right after that.
Because that's actually, and you're like me, you don't think people are bad, and you kept telling me, well, he's going to do the right thing, and I kept saying, I hope so, and that's when, like, we kept saying, he's going to do the right thing, which honestly, they delivered the car, which was the right thing, but now, what's the second part that's not the right thing, that when you finally picked your car up, which wasn't the 18th, I think it was all the way into June, wasn't it? It was Tuesday, yeah.
I got my car on the 2nd or 3rd, whatever the Tuesday was, yeah.
June 2nd.
You got your car on the 17th.
Yeah. So, And then, okay, so then it actually took another 2 weeks for you to get your car. And then you, all the time, me and you are talking back and forth. And I know I'm scaring the shit out of you because that's when I started to explain to you about floating titles and how like the bank pays Val, and Val basically.
Yeah, the video you sent me scared me. Like as soon as I watched that video, and I'm like, this sounds exactly like our situation.
Like, because he could hold, because banks give the dealers the money. And even though I'm going to go off on a limb and say they're obligated to pay that bank loan off,
They're supposed to.
Yeah, he had basically almost $300,000. We're just going to say 300. And I know the numbers are different because you use cars as a trade-in, but we'll just say a rough figure, 150,000, because you did trade in some gorgeous cars. So I'm just going to go off and say 150,000. I know my numbers are off. And he has that money in his hand. Now, he could turn around, which I believe he did, and tried to flip that money. But I did hear a story today. If you listen to my video on the second victim, supposedly he was trying to raise $2 million to get his, because down in Jacksonville, it's only Jacksonville, it's Karma and Jacksonville. And his thing was always to want to have a franchise. So I guess from what the guy told me today, that Steven, is he said he wanted to raise $2 million for Alfa Romeo franchise. So we're never going to know really why he did the illegal dealings he did, whether it be to do a franchise and use all us as victims and as banks with non-interest, or if he just wanted to, steal millions of dollars. I got to tell you, when I went to the police, it was very hard to file charges and get the ball rolling. Only after the video was made and all other victims came out. Like if I was a single victim, this would go only into what the cops say. It would go into not a criminal case. It would go into for some reason I can't remember.
A civil case?
A civil case, thank you. It would go into a civil case. That's what the guy said. He goes, it sounds like it's a civil. I even called the FBI, like when me and you started talking like a month earlier. Well, yeah, like around May. And the FBI guy goes, like he says, call me when you got a crime. And he hung up on me. And, now the FBI is involved, but they're only involved because there's so many of us. Like, I'm going to be doing probably
states and stuff. Yeah,
I'm going to be probably doing videos of victims for maybe a month. There's so many, and like I was supposed to call a guy back today that has a Volvo, that he doesn't have the title. He gave Val all the money, and he doesn't have the car. His situation sounds pretty sickening. I was supposed to call and talk to him today, and it just time didn't allow. Like that, I just got home.
Yeah,
and
it's. Well, if you remember, we were talking, like say like May 24th on, and I was telling you everything that Rob was telling me, and they didn't know. Rob didn't know that we talked, like that we were talking.
Right.
He didn't even know that we knew each other really.
Yep.
And so like you were actually able to help me kind of be like, hey, tell him I'll go pick up your car if he can't find transport, because that was the excuse I kept getting, was that there was no transport. It was tough to find people who could drive the car or pick the car up and bring it up here. And I was waiting 3-4 weeks, for something that should have taken, as you're saying, a few days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could have had a car carrier, because my wife does that. She, we both know Dave. We're not gonna say his last name. He had a McLaren out in Vegas, and he got bamboozled on that because he gave it to a car rental company, but we were able to get it back. But the dealer the rental agency made us turn our truck around 3 times. It took like 2 weeks to finally get his car loaded up. He got it home now, but it was hard. But in our case down with Miami, it's 2 days. It's a 2-day turnaround. I even had my McLaren in the truck 5 days, which I thought was kind of extreme. And so you got, okay, so now, Rob said it would be here this day, the latest this day. Rob, which he also said to me, it's on, your car is on the trailer. And to find out, I get a phone call from Val 2 days later. Mike, your car's not on the trailer. It's not Rob's fault. Please don't accuse him of anything. It's like, okay, so you guys basically lied to me. And anyway, but this ain't about me.
That's what it feels like. It feels like we were lied to over and over and over again.
So you took delivery of the car Tuesday.
Right.
The 2nd. Now, was Bull Auto open? Was there staff there on Tuesday? Because, again, the video went Wednesday. And
when I went there at 9:30. The lights were off. The doors were locked. There was
at 9:30 in the morning or at night?
In the morning. They were supposed to be open. I believe they opened at 8:30.
Okay.
So I went there at 9, maybe even 9:15. I think I was supposed to be there at 9:30. I showed up a little early, so 9:15-ish. Doors are locked. There's a sign on the door that says, sorry, no service because of staffing issues. The same sign that's still up there.
Yep.
Lights are off. My buddy actually went around back, was like trying to find somebody because I'm like, this isn't good. I had already had all these fears from our conversations, from how the transaction had gone. I was already, in full anxiety. So, that was just kind of like the nail in the coffin for me to be like, something really bad is happening here.
Yep. So you were scouting around the parking lot because we know you got the car. So did you get it Tuesday?
Yeah, so I did. My buddy actually, like I said, was looking through the garage back window, and he sees it. And then Rob and another gentleman, I don't remember his name, actually came out and brought us inside. Like I said, there was customers outside, that probably had appointments that were asking what was going on, had no idea about the closure. And so he gives me the keys. He puts me on a dealer plate, like a physical dealer plate. He tells me, like, not temporary tags, like an actual, New York dealer plate, and tells me that the titles got missent or something.
Okay, so it wasn't
a couple of days.
A dealer plate is different than a temp tag, isn't it?
Yes.
So it actually says dealer on it.
It is Bull Auto's physical dealer plate.
Which is kind of, you want to brag that you bought a car. I would, and you don't want a dealer plate on it. I mean, just on that was bad business. But we already know all the way around the intentions were to do bad business. Now, did Rob say why he was giving you a dealer plate?
He just said because the title had been missent somewhere and that it would be here in the next couple of days.
The title was missent. Now,
so he couldn't register it.
That video I sent you also, they talked about titles and titles getting misplaced and how it allows the dealer to hold on to that money a little bit extra, gives them a little bit more time. So Tuesday, you took the car with the dealer plate. You were obviously very ecstatic to have it. So, and you figured
so I'd like to say I was happy, but it kind of took the joy out of it for me. The whole process had made me so stressed that when I got the car, I was relieved. I was like, oh my God, like the car's here, as opposed to being happy about it. I was more just relieved that the car made it.
And because I know somewhere, and I think it was Wednesday is when I thought the hammer fell. But you had...
Yeah, so
go ahead.
So Tuesday, so I pick up the car, right? I bring it home. I go to work, because I work every day.
You work your ass off. I know you do.
Yeah. And so there's a cruise-in happening Tuesday night, and I was like, oh, I'll go, because it's, got a new car. You want to drive it. Want to show it off a little,
Yeah, of course.
So I'm at this cruise-in when I get a call from Rob, saying, like, hey, like, this isn't how I do business. Like, he basically tells me that that I'm not going to be getting my title, that Val has lied and committed fraud against a ton of people, and that he's going to do his best to make things right the best of his ability. So now I'm really, really, stressing everything, because now I'm like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do in this situation?
He called you Tuesday night at the car show?
Yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah.
You're lucky you were able to make it home without wrecking.
I you put on a happy face for the rest of the show, but I was pretty much in shock. for the whole night. And even still to this day, kind of what's gone down since then. It's just because Wednesday, I go to work. I have to work. So I go to work. I'm stressing this all morning. I'm making phone calls to the DMV to you. I know you and I were talking back and forth. I was like, I got to go to the DMV. I filed reports, with fraud, with vehicle safety, with the Attorney General, with Colony Police, like you were saying. Just anyone I could think of.
But backing up back to Tuesday, he just came right out and said you're not getting the title.
He said the chances were slim to zero.
Now, it kind of seems kind of odd to me. Again, the jury's out with Rob. I'll be honest with you, because originally he said Val hasn't called him. When I went to talk to him Wednesday, he goes, I haven't spoke to Val. He's ditched everybody. He hasn't paid anybody. But okay, so to go from that part, and I found out other things about that makes it look like he's kind of. I'm going to tread lightly on saying that he's guilty of stuff, but there's no way you work in Albany as the GM a whole year while Val's down in Florida with a new store. You're putting your signature on contracts, and he just came out and told you your chances of getting your title is 0 to none. And the reason, like Val's not going to call Rob if Rob is on the up and up and say it's another title that I'm going to keep. Rob had to have come up with that assumption somehow, some way. Like, you can't just be like, okay, none of these guys are getting the title, because he called me Wednesday, or Rachel called him, and she's like, Rob, just level up with us. And he's like, said, I'm working for free. I'm trying to get everybody's cars out of here. Val's a piece of shit. He hasn't paid any of the tax. They all left. He hasn't paid me. I'm just trying to do the right thing and get people's cars back. And I'm like, and you don't know where my Lambo is? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right. Well, obviously, I got the Lambo. And in that video, the victim, and I'm just going to say allegedly, the victim says that Rob called him and said, everything's coming down now. So he's not a saint in this, because he knew, because the victim that had my Lambo, they all hung out. Like, you could see pictures of them together. So this victim, Rob called him to let him know that the Lambo is going to probably be taken or something. Like, it's the hammer's coming down. And because I called Rob on the way home, Wednesday night, and I said to him, Rob, do you know where my Lambo is? And he goes, Mike, and this is Wednesday night, he goes, Mike, I retained a lawyer, and I'm advised not to say anything. Now, if you're not guilty, just in your heart alone, working with us for the past 10 years, in your heart alone, why wouldn't you say, Mike, your Lambo is sold to a guy in Albany? Why would you make me...
It makes me sick, man. Honestly.
Why would you make me jump through hoops? I found out where my car... I found out... Me and my wife found out where our car was by... Honestly, I'm not a super holy man, but I'm a spiritual man, and I believe that somebody was just putting pieces in place for us. From the day the video started to me getting the Lambo a week later, because me and her, we found where our car was. And when you see the video with victim number 2, he mentioned Val called him, Rob called him and said, the hammer's coming down about, with me. Now, again, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Rob said, I don't know where your car is. Wednesday night, I called him on the way back when, I seen the clusterfuck going on at Bull Auto with all the tow trucks and everything. On the way back, I said, Rob, honestly, you know where my car is? Mike, I retained a lawyer. I'm advised not to say anything. And it's just like, okay, if you're innocent, Why you running? Like, I didn't get a lawyer.
Yeah.
I didn't run out and grab a lawyer. And Igor winded up, which is the salesman in Florida. He lawyered up, and he basically told Mike, the other guy, victim number one that I did the video with. Mike called him because in the beginning he talked to him for a second. Then he said, "I'm lawyered up. I'm advised not to talk to you." So why are they? I'm going to push Igor to the side because he's not as in as Rob has been. With Rob is the face that I know for all these years, and why would he say to me, "I retain a lawyer, I can't say nothing"? I'm like, okay, which you know where my car is. Before you retained a lawyer, you told me I don't know where your car is, and then you retain a lawyer and you say I don't know. I mean, where's your heart, man?
That's what I was saying. Like we were lied to over and over and over again for months.
From him too. Like how did?
Yes, yeah.
Like I was giving him the benefit of the doubt until today. And he turned around and said, until today, till I met victim number 2, Steve, who said about the phone call. But yet, Tuesday, I don't know where your car is. Wednesday morning, I don't know where your car is. Thursday night, I'm sorry. Thursday night, I lawyered up. I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
How do you do that to people that are supposed to be your friends? Like, this is just... how deep this goes and how awful it is it literally makes me sick, honestly. Like,
now, the way this has affected you, and I'm going to disclose, it's not really personal, but I'm going to disclose your text about the bank.
Yeah.
So the thing that happened with...
I can explain that if you want.
The thing that happened to John is when you get a loan, like different banks have different rules. So the bank is technically the one who owns his Lamborghini. It's supposed to.
So there's two different banks, right? There's the one that floated the money that has my title because they were never paid. And then there's the bank that I use to finance part of the car.
Right. The other bank is irrelevant. That has no dealings with you, if I'm correct. The one who has your title.
Well, so they both have contacted me.
Right. But your bank, your personal bank is the one you got to pay your money back on your loan.
Right.
The other bank owns the car, and they are waiting for Val, because you gave the money to Val, to pay them.
So let me preface this by saying both banks have been, great so far. They've gone out of their way to try to be accommodating. But the bank that has my title actually reached out to me and basically was like, we have two options. You either buy the title from us or you surrender the car to us.
Or buy the title from them. What does that mean?
So I mean, I essentially have to buy the car twice.
Pay another $285,000.
So I think that I don't want to give the exact numbers. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't want to give a wrong number. But obviously, it's whatever Val borrowed from them. So
I gotcha.
240, 250, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I would end up paying $520,000, $530,000 for a car that's worth half that.
Yeah, because they're out of their money too. Like they've been screwed too. Now, the way this is, okay, so that's affected you one way because your contract with your personal bank surprises me because
So they told me that there's a clause in the contract. Like I said, they have been willing to work with me. They said they're going to do, this is a unique situation, but if they do not receive a title for the loan, for the car that the loan is on, that the interest rate automatically goes to 25%.
Because they're now that's considered an unsecured loan.
Right, because there's no collateral.
And so basically you could default on that loan and they can't take your Lambo. If let's say you actually had title in hand and you decided not to give it to them and they've fronted you the money on good faith. And then you just have the title, and you're like, fuck it, I'll just go bankrupt, and they can't take my. Well, I mean, I think
Right.
bankruptcy could, but the bank can't. So basically, you could just not pay the bank, not go bankrupt, and you have an X amount of dollar card, 300,000, whatever it costs, and
So like worst, this is like worst case scenario. My options would be either buy the car twice or have my interest rate go up to 25%, in which I'm basically buying the car twice. So those are the options I've been. Those are the worst case scenario.
And you know what? You know what sucks? Like, okay, so one time we did a real good year in trucking. After that, we've never done another good year in trucking. We've been okay. And I'm going to just say that you're in the same boat as me. Like, we are good to buy one used exotic car. We are not good.
Like comfortably. You live comfortably,
We are not good to buy two exotic cars.
Not this level car, no.
No.
This is like an investment. These cars are assets. I know some people don't look at them like that, but these cars, the amount of money that goes into them, into maintaining them, is almost like owning a house.
The cars cost as much as houses, really.
Right, and part of the benefit of having a car like this is that you don't get hit usually as hard on depreciation. So they really are genuinely assets.
Right, because and also, I mean, we this is another video, but yeah, I mean, you could take out a $250,000 house loan. It's going to take you 20 years to pay it off with interest. You could take out a $250,000 car loan, and you could have that paid off in 5 years, and then you could still sell it for $220,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, you drove around in a Lambo for 5 years, and you lost $5,000 a year.
So that's how I view these cars, and so this was an asset for me. Like anyone who knows me knows, I'm very careful with how I manage my money, and this was a purchase that I thought about for a long time. Like I said, I consolidated assets to get this, and now if I were to lose that asset, like it's going to take me years to recover from this. And it's time taken from me, not just the money, like time out of my life. That is now probably gone thanks to Val, thanks to Bull Auto,
Karma, and that's another thing.
Karma, Alfa Romeo, like.
I'm not. I don't want to put me on a pedestal because it's not. It's a horrible thing that I had to do the video right to find all these victims. But what pisses me off is and I might say this every now and then in my videos, is they're a franchise owner. It took me one day to find out what was going on. How come Alfa Romeo of Albany, Karma of Jacksonville, who's got a lot more money than you and me combined, and never will reach that level ever. Why did they got lawyers in their back pocket? They got people that crunch numbers all day long. Why? My shit went downhill 6 months ago. My video went up a week ago. And that day I made the video, I knew something was wrong. Actually, I knew something was wrong the month earlier because I told you I called the FBI, and then me and you started talking. Why did these people, Alfa Romeo, Karma of Jacksonville, Albany, why did they allow him to continue to work illegally?
It's crazy that there's not more protection for the buyers. Like I was always under the impression that once you had a purchase agreement, that was a binding document, and now I'm coming to learn that without the title, it doesn't mean anything. Like this is may end up being the worst financial mistake of my life, all over a title.
And isn't it like, I mean, dude, you own a Lamborghini. Like, I know, it's like, dude, you own a Lamborghini. Like, people grow up with them cars on their wall. And
I did. That was me. I was a kid with a poster of Vigardo on my wall.
And isn't it weird that like me myself, I don't care if I ever buy another car again. Like, it took the joy.
I'm in that same boat.
I'm sorry?
I'm in that same boat, and I'm hoping it passes. Like, I went. The DMV had asked me to take pictures of some of the things on the car. I went, and I told you I keep my car stored. I went to take pictures of it, and I almost had resentment towards the car just because of all of this. And I hope it goes away because I love cars. That's my outlet. That's something that brings joy to my life that isn't currently, but I hope will someday again.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. Like in my case, my cars were put away for the winter. He called me to sell them. I didn't even want to. Like I didn't even think
That's
about selling them.
awful what happened to you. It's crazy.
And so it's awful what happened to you and everybody else. I mean, right down to me taking the car today. I gave that guy probably 3 or 4 hugs today. Like, and I shouldn't have been in that predicament, like to be happy and sad. Like, because I'm a human. Like and as you are, like I care for people. And I'm just gonna say, to drive my car out of there from that guy that I know, because he's basically you.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're dealing with the floor planners, and they want their car back. I'm like the floor planner because I wanted my car back, but I have a heart. Like it made me disgusted to take that car and take it away from him. Like I'm happy for me, and I'm disgusted and sad for him. Like, and I'm going to help him.
We're all victims, and like you said, we're all people. We're all humans, and we have empathy for each other because we're all in the same boat. Like we were all screwed over by the same person.
And that's where I get dumbfounded about Rob. Like, okay, you want to say you're innocent, but where's your empathy? Where's your heart that you knew where my car was, and you couldn't tell me for what reason? Unless you have something to hide.
It's like, as a man, like, how could he look us in the eyes and lie to us for months? It's so brutal.
It's so brutal. And you know what? I mean, I'm not going to get into threats. There's no reason for it. It's just, it's somebody's going to be held accountable. I mean, whether
somebody should step up from, like you're saying, from one of either the franchise or somebody. Like,
yeah, where's those phone calls?
Yeah.
So now, I guess these videos do take about, as I'm seeing, about 45 minutes. So I think we covered almost everything. I just got one question to ask.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now? Because you're in a real, like, okay, the other guy, like today, he made a very hard decision. He has the purchase order. The bank paid $250,000 for my car. He has that loan of $250,000, but he doesn't have the title. I had the title. My bank has the title, and I had the car registered and insured. He had to stand up and say, I'm either going to give the car back to the guy, or I don't know what, or we're going to be in some legal mamber jamber stuff, not work together. We're going to be battling each other, even though we both screwed by the same guy. So he had to stand up and make a very hard decision of giving me my car back, knowing that he has a loan of $250,000 that he has to pay back as of right now. But he's basically making a $250,000 payment loan, and I don't know what trade-in value or money you put down, but I just know that's what the car costs. He had to pay that loan back, and he's basically paying for air.
That is the question that keeps me up at night. Is what am I supposed to do now?
Because you have the same thing. Like you, as of right now, you got to continue until the bank says you're relieved. You have to keep paying the money that you owe on that car. So you're like me. I was out of the Rolls Royce and my Lambo for a McLaren. You were out of your Bentley and your Lambo for a Lambo. We kind of in the same boat almost. I luckily got mine back, but you got
your title.
I haven't gotten the title. I haven't gotten the title for the McLaren yet.
Oh man,
that jury's still out.
Yeah.
I believe it's free and clear, but the jury's still out on that. So I don't know.
Gotcha.
But your new Lambo, now you have to decide, like Is somebody advising you what you should do, or are you just?
I did retain a lawyer, and I'm still working out. Like I said, banks have been in communication with me, in communication with each other to try and resolve. There's been no hostility, so ideally we'll reach some kind of
No hostility. I didn't hear that. No hostility with the bank or with the floor planners.
With anybody, with my bank. Like my bank has talked to the floor planner. They've both talked to me. Like I said, there's been no hostility between any of us. Good. The idea is that we're all victims here, and we're going to try to reach some kind of decision that at least mitigates the damage to some of us, to all of us.
As it stands right now, are they still asking for the car back?
They gave me two options. Like I said, either buy the title or return the car.
Are they giving you a deadline to return the car?
They have not.
Okay, are you afraid that if you drive the car, a repo guy could be outside and just pull it out or wherever?
I don't know. I would hope not. I would hope they would have been straight up with me. But after this dealings with Bull, I don't know who I can really trust and who I can't anymore.
Okay. Do you and right? So right, because they're victims. I don't know if banks actually have insurance for stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. That's not my wheelhouse. I don't work for a bank. I don't know anything about it.
That's why I haven't made a decision. I'm trying to find people that know more about it than I do. I have a lawyer. We're working on things. I just need more information before I make a decision.
It's hard as hell, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, even dealing with a lawyer is hard as hell because it's probably brand new to them.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a situation that comes up very often. Hopefully, it won't come up
again. It will. It won't happen to you or me, but
hopefully, knock on wood.
I mean, if I keep posting videos, maybe more people will see it. But honestly, I don't even know how I would not become a victim. I don't even know how. I mean, what Mike said, the first victim I did the video with, is he said, from now on, when I buy a car, I'm going to ask to see the title and make sure there's no liens on them at all.
The title is king. That is what I've taken away from this experience, and it's probably something I should have known before I did all this, because like I said, I thought the purchase agreement held some weight, but apparently title is everything.
People, title is everything. That's what I'm coming out with John, with me, actually. Now, my bank hold the title. And, the title is, and Mike. So, title is everything. And he's right. I mean, purchase order means begats. It means nothing.
Apparently, yeah.
All right, John. So, I'm probably going to get this posted up tonight. Obviously, me and you, and like all the victims, are all bonded together. Me and you.
And I want to thank you also. I know I did privately, but I'll thank you again publicly. Thank you for all the work that you, Rachel, and everyone's been doing.
Well, I thank you too. I thank you for doing this video, and honestly, you're helping people. You're helping, you doing this video with me. You're helping that scumbags don't do this to friggin' working class people. And it doesn't matter if it's a $30,000 car or $300,000. Nobody has the right to steal from anybody.
Like I said, it's not just time. It's not just money. It's time. You're taking time out of people's lives that they don't get back.
Yeah, it's
the money's a huge thing. I don't want to downplay it. Like, losing the money is terrible. But now I'm going to have to work all over again to try to fix this.
Oh, man, it's the worst. It's honestly. I'm considering myself a fucking YouTuber, and this is not how I wanted to become a YouTuber. Why can't I just do cool videos like some of the other guys, just making pictures of cars? I mean, I'm filming my face in front of a camera, talking on the phone. It's not how I wanted to become a YouTuber. I'll tell you. Not that I wanted to become a YouTuber, but I'm kind of like, I'm getting more and more comfortable doing it. Ironically, maybe when this nightmare goes away, which I think is going to be years.
I think it's going to be years too.
I could focus on something else, and you don't deserve to live in years like this. You work too hard. You don't.
All of us do, and it's not all of us. Anyone that you screwed over, it's just, how can you do that to people? People you call your friends,
That's the thing. The friend comment is what got me. Like you didn't have to act, and I think I told you that you didn't have to act like my friend when you were selling me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to do that. We didn't have to be friends. We could have just been business associates, and it would have been, good. And like I said, the thing with Rob is he could have said anything. He could have said, "I got in over my head and I didn't realize the magnitude." But again, I found this all out within basically a month before the hammer fell, before the video. I started realizing what was going on because, like you said, I sent you the video of the floating titles, and I said, "This is what's going on."
I've been stressed since that day, and you were 100% right.
It sucks. It's not like I don't. It's not like I want to be right. I don't want to be right. I don't. I just honestly I want to ride like you remember last year when we had all those cars lined up and we rode together that one time.
That was awesome. Yeah, it was last April. I remember because right after the show, that was fun.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you got the new Lambo, I got the McLaren. I was like, I'm looking forward to riding with you again, and now it's like
I can't even look at my car right now. That's how bad it is. Like,
it's sad. It's sad because you feel violated. Like you feel violated, and you don't feel like it's yours. And that's a horrible feeling. Like you're paying basically for something you don't even know is yours.
Or I'm going to have to pay twice for it.
And, obviously building up to that amount of, like, people don't understand when they, like, sometimes I hear like, oh, I'm going to get that car, this and that. You just don't walk into a bank and be able to, like, you could walk into a bank and you could get a Mustang, a Camaro, a Corvette, and you could get one pretty easily. But you don't just walk into a bank and say, I want to buy a Lamborghini, and they're going to throw money at you. Like, I got turned down the first time I tried to buy a Lamborghini. I seen a used Murcielago at Keeler had one, and they even put sold because my credit was good. They even put sold on the sticker. I took pictures of it. An orange Murcielago, 2007, and called me back later on and said you were denied.
Yeah, you need to have history of big loans. You need to have good credit. Everything has to be in order to get one of these.
Yep,
and that's why it's so hard to do. Like before I got my first Lambo, it took me years and years to be able to like put myself in position to do that. And like it's tough.
It's so tough. And now, like my wife is like pulling her hair out of her head because like we shored up and did what we had to do to build our credit up. I mean, we both did not have stellar credit. We both had not good credit, but then we built it up and we were able. I think the first car we got together was an Explorer, a Ford SUV, and then after that, shortly after, we got the Corvette. And
you got to steadily build up,
Yeah, exactly, and
it takes years.
And exactly, it took years and years, and and the whole reason I'm even bringing this up is because, again, we got it good, but we ain't got it good where we like some of these guys that own 4 or 5
I'm in the same position. I live comfortably, but I can't afford to pay 2 Lambo loans.
Exactly, and now on top of all the damage that you're dealing with, you also risk losing your credit.
Yep, but I would just never default with my bank. Like as a human, I just can't do that. I signed the contract, I'll honor it.
Right, but you know what? Sometimes things can go wrong. Like
true, yeah, unforeseen stuff.
I mean, you're self-employed.
Right.
I'm not going to say what you do, but you're self-employed, so you have to be dependent on people coming to you. I mean, you're not a government worker where you're guaranteed a paycheck every week. You could have a bad week.
There's been times, at the very beginning where I wasn't taking paychecks.
There you go. I mean, and honestly, it's I know there was a time when COVID shut businesses down. I mean, I'm not saying that the country's ever going to get like that again, but we don't know what could happen. And, you know, you're dependent on outside customers to come into you and keep your business going. But if you have, like I said, I mean, and you live comfortable and you're able to pay a Lamborghini payment, which is a great accomplishment. But at this moment in time, you're not able to do 2 Lamborghini payments.
No.
And that's why what I'm saying, that could actually put you on a late or a missed payment. I know you say you're never going to happen, but sometimes things happen, like in this case, it's happening with you right now. You might not ever be at fault, and it's like, oh my God, I just made a Lambo. I got to make another Lambo payment on the same fucking
Or
car.
I just got to return the car and have nothing, make payments on nothing. That's the other option. You know, they're just bad options, but it's a bad situation.
And that's how this is how this guy affected people's lives. And again, somebody has to be held accountable. So that's it. You have anything you want to say to anybody at the end of this, or?
I guess just one other thing. Like I posted, you know, the social media stuff. I had a lot of people reach out and support and offering help, and I wasn't able to get to everyone. So if anyone knows me personally and to ignore you, it was just I've been very overwhelmed the last week. You know, as you can imagine. I'm sure you have too. And
right, and honestly, yep. And you know, let's be honest, we have full-time jobs, and this has taken, in my case, I'm going to just say in your case, this has taken your time from your full-time job. When you get done with that job, this is actually, for me, it's become an obsession. Well, look at us. We're here at, what is it, 11 o'clock at night. I work 12 hours today, and this is something I wanted to do today. Like, I just, like you said, it needs to get out there. It has to get done. And yeah, you know, which honestly, yes, at the end, I thought you were going to turn me down and be like, it's too late. And, no, I just wanted to get it done. Because, like, it's like I go to work tomorrow. You know, it's not like tomorrow's going to be different. Right. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This, like Mike and I'm sure Steve today, and you now, John, and I'm going to hopefully get John tomorrow on the phone and do the same thing. And everybody says this is taking up all their time until justice is served, and we find relief on our cars. Yeah, some kind of closure, something. Some kind of closure. That's the word I'm looking for. Yep. Until then, this is work and this. And even when I'm working, my mind's not on work. My mind is on this. And it shouldn't be, because in my case, you know, I do work in an office, but I also drive a big rig at the same time. And my mind don't need to be wandering about this, right. Which, Rob, that's something else you should have thought about too, because I'm driving a 60-foot vessel down the highway. And if I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, you know. I can't, I don't even know how you're doing it. I can barely focus. Yeah, my wife. They're easy to me, just aren't coming to me, you know. My wife told me you have to go down to the Carolinas, and I was supposed to leave tomorrow, but we winded up hiring an outside contractor to do it because it's not safe for me to drive this week. That's funny. But yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, that's not funny. My phone that I thought was plugged in is actually not plugged in, and it just said your battery power is going dim. So I guess this video is actually prematurely. Oh, it's not. Gosh, yeah, we ran this kind of long. Yeah, we did. We actually, this is the longest one I've done so far. So, I mean, we've been at it for months, you know. So there's a little bit more to tell. All right. So you got everything out that you were going to say. Yeah. And you all know he does apologize to all the Facebook people that wrote to him that he just. I wasn't able to answer back. I mean, I'm going to try to. I just haven't done it. A lot of people. So his apologies to you all that he hasn't. He's not ignoring you. He is grateful about the support that you all giving him. Yeah. Always. Always. All right, John. Maybe I'll give you a call tomorrow. Sounds good. All right, my brother. Good luck with everything. Thanks, I'll talk to you soon. You too. Bye now. Bye.